Hi everybody, Peter Driver here from Piscarifly. Welcome to another Saturday Night Live. Hope you all had a great week. We had a busy week. We were out pike fishing during the week on some of the canals. Had a great time. Anyone that's in the Piscarifly club would have seen some of that footage, and hope you all enjoyed it. We also did our first live fly tying in the Piscarifly club. It was great crack. Very interactive because the way the system works for that. You can come on and chat live as well. So I'm not as busy watching comments and stuff like that. I can actually hear the questions and stuff and chat away. So it was great to get it off the ground. It's been a great week. Thanks everyone for all your support. And if you haven't signed up, please do. There's a lot more to come. Trust me, a lot more to come. But for tonight, folks, Saturday Night Live again. We're here. Another week has gone by. Where are they going? I was going to finish up on the bank stuff last week, but I got inundated with so many requests for so many different types of flies, patterns, information and stuff like that as usual, that I said I'll do one more week on it and I'll cover the 4 most requested patterns and techniques that people have been asking about. So we're going to start off by tying an egg-laying blob. Okay, simple enough pattern, but fished correctly can be super effective. We're then going to move on and we're going to tie a doyle back. But this one is going to be the one I've spoken about a few times, the salt and vinegar crisp packet doyle back. I'm going to finally tie that one. Haven't tied it before on a video or live, so we're going to tie that one and talk through that one. We're going to tie a snake fly. Okay, love them or hate them, they're very effective. Not competition friendly, but for the pleasure anglers can be very effective on a tough day. So we're going to cover the technique, a bit of tying in one of those. So I've been asked quite a lot about it, so I said I'll cover it for a few people tonight. We're going to tie that one, and then we're going to finish up with one of my favourite stalking books. I think I might have done it a few years back, I'm not sure, but again I've been asked quite a bit about it. Really good in very cold winter weather. A stalking bug can be super effective, so I'm going to try one of my favourite ones there. As usual, folks, share the stream to be in to win tonight's flies. There's going to be plenty of chat and crack. If you got any questions, shoot them across on Messenger. I'll do my best to get to them. Dave will be along with his usual trivia quiz. Stay tuned for that one. Watch it in the comment section. And yeah, hope you enjoy the night. And okay, let's get down to it. Hi everybody, and welcome to another Saturday Night Live with me here, Peter Driver. Hope everyone's had a good week, and looking forward to tonight's show. So as I mentioned there in the little bit of an early prequel there, we're still on the bank stuff. So I've been inundated with requests for bank stuff, and I said I'll do one more show. And I know last week I kind of said it was the last week, but I think we just got to cover these couple of patterns and these couple of techniques, and we'll move on then from that into next week's show, where we'll get stuck into all the other stuff. So how you doing, David Lee? Aidan Gill is on with us there. Peter Wadden from County Wexford. Well done. How you doing, P? Kevin Coyne, good to have you on with us there. Gary as well. Michael McGovern from New York. How you doing, Mike? Hope you're keeping well. Mike is on the way home soon for a little while. Dick Croak is on there. Hope you're keeping well, Dick. Garrod, Bernard, Michael Callaghan, Joe Hanlon, Ken is on there as well. Declan Noonan, how you doing, Declan? Martin Kenny, David O'Donovan's on there. Dave's going to be back with his trivia quiz as usual. Anthony Bolton all the way from Rathdrum in County Wicklow. Hope you're keeping well up there, Anthony. Liam Long, good to have you with us. Liam, Tom O'Sullivan, Brennan Spillane, and everybody else who's on there. David Hannaford, John Fern, Eugene Fagan is on with us there as well. Dylan Roberts from the Welsh Tea. Unfortunately, Dylan, I'm missing Dave, yeah. Roger Fowler, can you buy Dave a pint next Thursday? He might be persuaded to do that. Pat Kennedy, Jim Orlando, hey Jim, thanks a million for joining up with the club today, Jim. We launched our club. Rob Redmond from Wales is on there as well. As how you doing, Rob? And I hope you're keeping well. Not going to make the Welsh Tea this year, just because of Australian stuff. So to all my Welsh friends, I'll see you all after. I'll make a trip over in January, but yeah, thanks to Jim for joining up there to the club. We launched the club last week. It's been an eventful week. We got some stuff up. We did a bit of a live fly tying show there on Tuesday night. Very interactive, because on the live shows that come with the Piscari Club, you can chat to me. It's not just by messenger. How you doing, Kevin Maher? Hope you're keeping well. It's not just by messenger. You can actually chat with me as well when I'm tying, so it does make life a little bit easier for me. For the moment, we'll keep to that system. We'll find our feet as we go forward with the club, but thanks so much to everybody who signed up. It's going to be fantastic. You would have seen some pike fishing during the week there as well. We were up in the canals in Kildare, myself and Mark, and we have some videos up there about pike fishing. We're going to be doing loads of stuff. I'm heading to Melbourne
I'm starting a trip in Melbourne. Anyone that's part of the club will get to follow the whole trip. But I'm starting a trip. We fly to Melbourne on the 16th or 17th, I think it is. And from there, then we'll spend a couple of days just recovering from the trip with the kids. And then we head out to, thanks Thomas, we head out to Phillip Island for Christmas week. And looking forward to that. On the beach for Christmas Day. Really can't wait for that experience. 30 odd degrees or whatever it is. How you doing, Alan? Good to have you on with us there from Adair in Scotland. Garrett Core, thanks a million. Yeah, I think informal is the way. I like doing things informal, Garrett, and make it real fun for everybody. And the more we get into it. Hi, Jared Murta. Good to have you on with us. Keep it good and informal and a bit of fun, Jared, or Garrett, sorry. Bit of fun, and there'll be a lot of content going up there. But once we go to Phillip Island for a week, and then after Phillip Island, we head back into Melbourne and head up the Great Ocean Road for a bit. From there, we'll head up to Cairns. We'll fly up to Cairns for a few days, and spend a bit of time up around there. So it's going to be an awesome trip. We're going to be travelling for about 5 weeks, doing a lot of fishing on the way, a lot of salt water, a bit of fresh water. Should be real fun and interesting. Can't wait to get out there and have a bit of fun and just enjoy some time with the kids as well, of course. You know, the one downside of having your own business, folks, especially a fly fishing fly tying business, is you don't get much time off. Any other people out there that have their own business, you know that yourselves, it is full on. So looking forward to a couple of weeks of just spending time with the kids, having a bit of fun. And if you're part of the club, all the videos will be streamed back to the club. But anyway, back to tonight, folks. Don't forget, if you share the stream, you will be in to win tonight's flies. Congratulations to our winners last week and the winners of our trivia. Dave will be along with his trivia again. This week we got a lovely selection of mink zonkers, piscarifly mink zonkers to give away. So watch out for Dave's quiz there as it comes along. I'd love to, John. There's just so many places in Australia I'd love to go. But I won't. How you doing, Yano? Congratulations, Yano. I think you were second today on the Connacht. Back to Australia. I'd love to. So many places I'd love to go in Australia, but you look at, we can only do what we can do in those few weeks we have. But congratulations to Darius Simkus, who won the Connacht Banks today. And Yano, I think you were second. Congratulations to all the fish to Connacht Banks. We're on tomorrow. We're on tomorrow, Leash Angling Centre tomorrow for the Leinster Banks. Myself and Mark are heading over there. But say this is our last week of stocky stuff, kind of bank fishing, fly tying, and I've been asked inundatedly over the last couple of weeks since we've been doing it, you know, about a couple of different patterns and things like that. So I said I'll cover them tonight for the people, and I hope you get everything you need. So we're going to start off here with a very simple little egg laying blob. Okay, a lot of people ask me about blobs, fabs, and stuff like that, and you know, there's a couple of, like I said, there is fabs, there's blobs with boobies, there's just standard blobs, there's blobs with tails, there's blobs with squirmy tails. The egg laying blob is a very effective stocky fly, and it can be, it can be really a game changer at times when the fish are down there. Kevin, I'll mind the saltwater cracks. I'd say they will be deadly on the fly, alright, yeah. Hey Betty Hayes, good to have you on there with us. I haven't seen you in a while there, Betty. I hope yourself and Michael are keeping well. Good to see you on with us there. Yeah, so we're starting with this egg laying blob anyway. So what we got here is a Piscari blob hook size 10 in the vice there, and I have a 3mm countersunk chartreuse speed on there as well. Just put on standardly for the moment, okay? I'm going to start off with some Glow Bright number 5, and we're just going to create a little wedge of thread right here at the bend of the hook. Just take your time. Basically, I'm just going to create a little wedge of thread to stop that bead from sliding on down. Okay, there's a couple of different ways of doing an egg laying blob. You can melt a bit of monofilament and stab the end of it against the table, which creates a little butt. Then run it through your bead, and then, you know, tie that in. How you doing, Nigel? Good to have you on us there as well, from South Wales. But you can tie that in then, and it leaves the little egg or the bead sticking out of the butt of the fly. That's one way of doing it. This is another way of doing it, folks. Is just tie on a little wedge of thread, creating just a little piece there. I'd often come back and just test it and make sure that bead is not going to slip over the end of the hook. Okay, I'll whip finish that off. And what I'll do then is I'll slide my bead down at that position. I'll then take my Kevlar and I'll start off my Kevlar. and lift that tag end a bit short there. It makes it quite difficult to cut. Kevlar is quite hard to cut unless they got a bit longer and they can grab hold of it. But it's okay, we can tie it in because we're just starting. And basically I'm just going to push that bead and lock that bead down into position there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little artist brush here and I'm going to take a little dab of solid res tin hard UV resin, and I'm going to just put a little bit of resin on that little butt of Glow Bright number 5 there. Just spin it around, give it a little cutting of that, the fibre sticking out my way, and then we'll give it a bit of a zap with our UV laser pen. And you see the glow of that bead there and the lovely, and that's our egg in place. Now we're going to, this is a black booby, so we got some piscarifly black Fritz here, jet black Fritz, and you'd nearly want to wear sunglasses when you're hitting that stuff with that laser pen because my eyes are a bit sparkly since. We're going to tie in, I'm just stripping back the core there, making sure I get a good tie in on the core for the Fritz. If you don't, you can find that Fritz will spin and sometimes even pull out on you. So get a good tie in there, tighten it, tie it right back to the bead, and then bring your thread forward. Now these kind of flies, blobs and stuff like that, they can be fished in a multitude of ways. They can be stripped, they can be roly-polied, they can be fished stagnant. You know, they really are a versatile pattern. Of course, with any stocky flies, folks, I must mention is you know, check out the rules of the fishery before you start fishing, because sometime fisheries don't allow blobs or fabs or on sinking lines, whatever it is. So do check out the rules of the fishery before you go fishing to make sure you're fishing legally. And all I'm doing is just winding up this, touch and turns, and as you can see, every wind I'm putting on there, I'm stroking back those fibres, those blob. This is a 15mm blob Fritz. It's quite a big blob. A lot of the blobs I'll tie will be on size 12s and will be 12mm blob Fritz, but just for the camera I said I'll do a bigger one because it just makes it, you all get to see it a little bit better. So wind that up right till I get up to the head of that, to the eye of the hook, lift up my excess Fritz and get the tip of the scissors in there and just cut away the core. Catch all those extra bits there sticking out and stroking back. You really want to get those parts of the Fritz there just all tapering back nicely, as you can see. Get them all tapered back. But the egg, the idea behind the egg leg and Fritz, now you can't see the egg, okay, which is fine. That's exactly the way I want it to be. But once that gets wet and you start pulling that through water, a fish that's following that blob or chasing that blob, if you're roly-polying or something like that, with every pull or every strip or stop, that egg will become exposed, and that's the nailing point. That's when they're going to hit it. Okay, they're going to follow it. Next thing, all of a sudden, that egg and that bright piece is going to be exposed out the back, and that's when they're going to absolutely nail it. So that's the idea of the egg laying blob up that way. Now, say you can tie it with. I'm just going to whip finish off that. Kevlar there for a second and take it away from there. You can tie it on a piece of monofilament sticking out the back, and it will be a bit more visible. How you doing, Jamie Conway? Hope you're keeping well. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jamie. Jamie's over in Mark's there tonight. They're heading over to Leash Angling Centre tomorrow, so I give that a bit of moisten and just stroke all that back, get it all back nice and neat before I finish off this fly. You wanted to keep it all tapered back quite well. But yeah, Jamie's over in Mark's there tonight. He's doing some controlling for us tomorrow. Thanks a million to Jamie and everybody else that's doing controlling for the Leinster anglers tomorrow. We do appreciate your time. And Mark is probably feeling a bit lonely there tonight. You know, Rebecca's gone to Leitrim. Rebecca's moved on to Leitrim there now to get set up for the wedding, and poor old Mark is left at home. Poor old Mark has been left at home there to fend for himself there for a few days before we all head to Leitrim on Tuesday. Well, myself and Mark will head to Leitrim we're heading to Leitrim on Tuesday, and we're going for fishing for pike on the Shannon on Wednesday. We're going for a good old fish, myself and Mark. So looking forward to that, and that'll be up again on Piscarifly Club. We're going to do some fly fishing for pike over on the Shannon there. There's a few canals over there, and really looking forward to doing a bit of that before the big day, which is Thursday. And yeah, it should be great fun, but Mark's feeling probably a bit lonely. So fair play to Jamie for going over there and keeping him company. Make sure you tuck them in tonight now, Jamie, won't you? And all as well. But just put on a little bit of a hot head there of Globe Right number 5. Little bit of a hot head there. I like a little bit of a hot head on that. But yeah, Mark's wedding's on Thursday, so it should be good fun. Going to put a little bit of varnish on that actually. Go on, Dave. Yeah. Thanks, James. I hope you're keeping well, James. You know, things about blobs is to really take your time winding up that fritz, and just stroke it back and get them really nice taper on that. And even when I varnish it, before the varnish gets to set, I'll stroke it back again. And what I'm actually doing is bringing a little bit of that varnish. I can feel it on my fingers, just over to the outside of that blob. And as you can see, we get a real nice taper on it and a lovely shape to it. And then of course you have then the whole little surprise for the fish. Thanks, Aidan. I know, Rob. I know how Mark up on his own for the moment, but that's what Jamie went over there tonight. Yeah, do you know what, Richard? I tell you, myself and Mark were having a bit of fun there. We only started talking. See the egg in there now, or the little egg lane, and then once that starts pulling and that gets wet, that'll become a lot more exposed. And with the movement of your stripping, fish chasing that behind, once they get a glimpse of that thing, they'll nail it. Like, but yeah, will the best man speech be on piscarifly club? But you know what, I might put it up there for the crack, Richard. I might even put it up because I've only started last night. Mark started his speech last night and I started mine, and the two of us were texting each other and having some crack, I tell you, talking about what are we going to say and what are we not going to say more so. Thanks, Liam. What are we not going to say more so? But yeah, I started writing it there last night. So yeah, I should look at it. It'll be fun. You know, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. It's always a great honour to be best man for somebody, and yeah, it'll be a great week over there. It'll be a great week, but we'll be on the Shannon on Wednesday. All that footage will be going up onto Piscarifly Club. So if you haven't join the club there, and you'll keep in touch with us there throughout the holding. And you would know, we might even stick up the old speeches afterwards for a bit of fun. But there we go. That's the egg laying blob. I hope that covers anyone that had a few questions about blobs and stuff like that, and tying in fritzes. That kind of covers it for that kind of thing. And we'll move on now to our next fly. So what have we got here on the list? So yeah, so we're doing. Okay, we're going to do a snake. I get asked a lot about boobies and snakes and stuff like that. I'm going to do a snake, but I'm not going to do next. I am going to do a doyleback. Okay, a doyleback. Now, this is the one I've talked about quite a few times. I've mentioned in a lot of videos and stuff like that. And this is the tato bag doyleback. Okay, so here's my tato bag. I had to eat a packet of salt and vinegar crisps last night to get a tato bag. I went for the extra large bag, being a bit of a greedy guts, but went for the extra large bag, and there's our tato bag. This is the secret ingredient to this doyleback, and I mean for a good few seasons this thing was lethal, and people couldn't understand. How you doing, Mr. Tato? People couldn't understand what we were catching on and stuff like that, fishing the banks. We came up with this. It was actually myself and Robbie Phelan up fishing. If any of you remember that fishery up in Kildare, it was called, I'll chat away to you as well, get a bit of gear out here for this one. It was called, what's the name of that fishery that was up in your man's front house, outside Kilcullen there? Anybody remember that? Good man, Thomas. Thomas loves the boobies. We'll be on boobies there now in a few minutes, Thomas. What was the name of that? Yes, thank you, Jenny. Curra Springs, absolutely spot on, Jenny Casey. Well done. Curra Springs, lovely fishery. Really enjoyed that fishery. I can't even remember that gentleman that used to keep that. I do. Yeah. But anyway, lovely fishery, really well kept. Really enjoyed fishing. But myself and Robbie used to go up there and fish an awful lot. And we came up with this fly fishing there, and it was a bomb. And we fished it in quite a few places. And after that, for a few seasons, and everyone would say, "Oh yeah, we say we're on doylebacks," and we're mad wondering what the hell was doyleback. And then when we showed them, you know, they couldn't match the colours. But it was tato bag. That was the thing. We managed to keep it for a little while, and then it was tato bag. And this is the tato bag doyleback. A little bit different than most other doylebacks, but I'm going to show you this one. This is the first time I've ever tied this now on a video or anything at all, and I'm wrong straight away. I should really go with black tying thread. So don't forget, folks, if you share the stream, you're into win tonight's flies. All these flies and any other flies I've practiced on are sitting there by one side, and I'll post them out to you Monday morning, as I always do. And Dave will be along with his trivia in a moment there in a little while, and of course you can be in to win a nice selection of piscarifly mink zonkers. So we're going to put in a little bit of marabou here. We got some of our piscarifly marabou, and see real nice and quite mobile marabou. We're going to put a marabou tail on this dieback. Hey Graham is on there from Sweden. Good to have you on with us there, Graham. Hope you're keeping well. Has the weather kicked in there yet, Graham? James, good question and thanks for asking it. Absolutely, James. We've huge plans for Piscarifly Club. There's going to be, we're only in our first week, really, and we've massive plans. There's going to be lots of guest fly fishers on Piscarifly Club over the year and years if it keeps going, which I hope it will, which I'm determined to keep it going. So yes, absolutely, James, there will be lots of guest fly tyers, guest speakers, interviews, all that kind of stuff. It'll all come as we move on down through it. So yeah, there's going to be lots of I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. Whenever you're shortening up marabou, just give it a pluck like that rather than actually cutting it. But there will be a lot of guest speakers, guest interviews. There'll be fly tyers and fly fishers indeed, and I'll be going spending time with the fly fishers. So I'm just adding in the little marabou tail, as you can see there now. I'll be spending time with some guest fly fishers in boats on the rivers, fishing with them, chatting with them. It'll be all video recorded and nice and relaxed, uncut, unedited as best I can, so you get to see the whole deal. What I'm adding in here now into this tail is a little bit of wing and flash. Okay, this is wing and flash. I don't know if any of you ever come across this. It's a really fine flash material. It's almost like a UV angel hair, or probably even a little bit weaker than angel hair, but I use it in an awful lot of say marabou, to give the marabou that kind of blue look, that blue hum off it. It's fantastic stuff, not too overpowering in marabou. So I got about 3 or 4 little strands of that. I picked it up at a show years ago. It's fantastic stuff. Adds a very subtle little blue flash to the likes of marabou. You can't really see there, but once I wet this thing afterwards, excuse me, it'll glow. There'll be a blue hum off it. Lethal with white marabou. Absolutely, it's nearly a must when I'm doing, and you'll see it in a little while when I do a stalking bug, a cat stalking bug. But for marabou cat flies like booby flies or cat streamers, putting a little bit of wing of flash into it, pearl, is absolutely a game changer. For a rib here, we got a little bit of blue wire. Absolutely, Neil, if you got it. Yes, thanks, Betty. Sean Hagerty owns Core Springs. Unfortunately, I think that's shut down now, isn't it? I think that's shut down. So I got a little bit of UTC. UTC small blue wire there. I'm going to put in a little blue rib. And what I'm going to use for the body is three peacock herl. These are dark peacock. How do I get them dark? Is I run a black permanent marker over prior to tying them in. Just make sure we got a nice even body coming forward. But I think Curra Springs has been open for a long time. We fished a few AWOLs up there back in the start, but I used to love fishing that place. It was beautiful. Beautiful. It was his front garden pretty much, and lovely relaxing place to go fish. Very clean, kept very well, and a really nice stock of fish in it. So I'm just winding that up. Did I get near the head? But absolutely, Neil Walker, if you can find stuff like that, I'm a devil. At Christmas time, I'm a devil when I go to people's houses. You know, I'll be looking, one of the first things I'll do is I'll eye up the Christmas tree. And if I see some kind of flash or some kind of little thing, I'm just ribbing that up now with the blue rib. If I see some kind of a flash or bit of Christmas tinsely kind of stuff that I think will tie a fly, I've been known to put in my pocket. And even one of the best grayling flies I ever had, I always put in a natural end first, Neil, on the as you can see, there's the butt ends of the peacock herl. I always tie in the natural ends always first and then wind them up. Excuse me. But yeah, and one of the best grayling flies I ever had. I had a shrimp pattern, orange and pink, and it done me really well, especially in the Welsh Tea. But hard to know, James. I'll come back to that in a question for you in a second, James. I'll finish off this little tale. But I found a little kind of Christmas present hanger thing on someone's Christmas tree one time, and I had a kind of a, you know, it was a little fake present thing. It was it was a piece of insulation, aeroboard insulation, square, wrapped with this pearl sheet and then little ribbons around it. But when I saw the pearl sheet, there was a real unusual flicker off it from the Christmas lights, and geez, that's different, like, you know. So walking around the person's house, I can't even, it's years ago, and walking around the person's house, and then I ain't taking that, so I took it anyway. And I used to use it for the back of my shrimps, and all the grayling I used to catch there, it was unbelievable. How you doing, Taylor? Good to have you on with us, all the way from Canada. I used to have, geez, I tied, and I've ran out of it. It's gone. It's gone. Never can be found again. I have bought every flat pearl sheet of stuff, scud back under the sun, and I've never managed to get that flicker. I probably have if I went really looking, there's probably a tiny little square of it left, not even enough to try a fly ball, enough to give me a reference point, and I've never been able to match it. But that stuff was unbelievable. When you tied that over Spectra, pink Spectra or orange Spectra, and you ribbed it up like a shrimp, it was just phenomenal. So here I got a bit of black, natural black, not dyed black, natural black feather, and I'm just going to tie in a little beard on this. So I've stripped off a bit, and I'm going to put a little beard on this. Absolutely, Joe. Anyway, you get a bit of fly time material. So Mark Joyce and James Hope, you're wondering about a 6-weight. A 6-weight for fishing for pike. Well, look, we were fishing the canal the other day, me and Mark. Anyone that's a member of the club will see we were using 7 weights. Really, really effective. We were able to throw quite big flies, no problem whatsoever. 6 weights a bit light. But you know what? On the canals, you'll probably get away with it. Okay, you'll get away with it. We had 30-pound shock leader off our fly line. I was fishing a dye tree with 30-pound shock leader, about 6 to 8 foot, and then about a foot of wire trace down to my fly. I was fishing a pink fly with a kind of mixed flash over it. You saw some pictures I put up there during the week on Facebook, and that was the bit of flash that I was using over the pink. That pink fly was up there. So now I'll take my tato bag, and it's time to cut it up and get the right colour out of it. Okay, so what we want is this kind of blue here. Okay, we want the real nice blue, not the white blue. The real blue is the salt and vinegar crisp bag. So I'm just going to cut a chunk out of that now. It's quite a large section, so just cut it a bit smaller. Take a chunk out for now, and then I can actually get my my strip ready. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll cut across. Now you see the way I'm cutting that with the scissors. So it's snip, 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 snip. Okay. Problem with that is, with an awful lot of things, is every time you make a snip with the scissors, you can leave a little cut mark on that piece of plastic. Okay, because that's basically what's made of, is plastic. All right. Now, and when you tie in little small fine strips, that it can break away quite easy. So what I tend to use, and any of you remember when I used to tie the what you call it, the shrimps out of and I'll do some of those. We got a grayling night coming up. I know Jamie Conway, a good friend of the piscarifly here, and he's heading to Wales soon for the Welsh D. It's his first year heading to the Welsh D for the grayling championships, and I promised Jamie that I would do a night on the club for grayling. So I will, and I'll be talking about using quality street wrappers. They're very good for doling the back of grayling flies. But if any of you remember, I've ever seen any of that, I always put into a bull clip like that with the steel blades. And what we do, what we'll do is, yeah, James. So yeah, it's mostly about throwing the flies. A 6-weight mightn't be able to throw the big streamers for pike flies. But you know, you'll manage on a small canal like we were the other day. You'll get by with a 6-weight, you know. But most likely you're looking at 7 and 8 weights for that kind of stuff. If you're going on to lock style for pike, you're probably better off going to 8s and 9s. We're going to do a lot of pike fishing this year on the club, so watch out. We'll talk a lot about setups. We're going to meet a few really interesting guys over the winter months about pike and stuff. So we'll have a lot of information coming that way. So what I'm doing here is I got a very sharp blade, and I'm going to slide that blade along the you can throw out the first bit, because all I'm doing is getting a nice straight. So what this leaves me is a real straight cut. Now there's no little snip ends or kind of cut ends in there, and it'll be very strong. So what I do now is, once I've got a straight edge on it, I put it back in, And this time I'm looking at it to see how deep. I only want about 2 or 3 mil. I only want about 2 or 3 mil of that crisp bag in there. Sometimes I'll mark it with a little pen, or if I'm unsure, all I do is just keep my finger and thumb in place. And once I've got it in place, and I think I'm in around the 2 or 3 mil, good man, Pat, don't throw out the wrappers. Those wrappers are unbelievable for tying shrimps, for grading. So as you can see, I just slide that blade along. Slide that blade along, you get a lovely clean straight cut with that crisp bag. Okay, that's a bit heavy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go again. The lighting here is not the best because I've got all the lighting facing towards me, so I'm not getting the best lighting to do the job here. Normally I might bring that a bit closer there, and I might be able to. The best thing about bull clips is you can look inside of them, and here we go. And you can see what sort of depth sharp. Slice it off, and there we go. So there's a perfect little piece now. That's our crisp colour. Okay, you can see it now. Lovely shade of blue. Really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie that in either side. Couple of turns just to secure it into place. Lift up your waist, trim it off. Is there, Pat? Is there any? Yeah, I must. I've boxes of Quality Street wrappers here, and I'll go back over that again for the grayling night using the Quality Street wrappers. Absolutely fantastic for doing scud backs, and there used to be such an array of colours, but I've been gathering for years. Such an array of colours on them. And what I do is I iron them out. I put them on the ironing board, hot iron, a bit of greaseproof paper over the top, and when you run the iron on them, you get them lovely and flat. You get all the crinkles gone out of them, and then put them into the bull clips, and you can slice them up then into their different shapes, or different diameters that you want, or thicknesses that you want, and really, really good for doing the back shrimps. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So all I'll do now is I get right in there, and I'll just trim off my 2 cheeks. You just want 2 little cheeks on the side of that fly. Small, not much. Little bit of an angle on them, and there we go. That is the salt and vinegar Tato doyle back. Absolutely was unbelievable. It's like any fly, you know. An awful lot of flies I have, patterns I have. I've got so many. So I keep a journal since I've ever been a kid. All the fly patterns, all the different places I fish them. We'll finish that off, tidy up the head, and we'll add a little bit of varnish to that, and she's ready to go. But like, you know, it fished really well for a couple of seasons, and then it just stopped. But like, I've nymph patterns that do the very same thing. I'm sure. Thanks, Thomas. I'm sure. Yeah, Mikey Foley, there you go now. That answers your question now, yeah. Yeah, we used to devour Tato crisp bags back in the day to get the cheeks. But once you've one crisp bag, you will get a lot of doyle backs out of just that small little piece there. But really, like, for a couple of seasons there, that was just unbelievable. Like, and I've buzzers, and I say I've nymphs that done the same thing that were just unbelievable for a season or two, and then they go off them. Now, because I don't do enough stocky fishing, I haven't fished that fly in a good few seasons, and I'm sure if I went back fishing it, it would be still as productive as it was back then. But like, let's say river nymphs, the same kind of situation. I've had river nymphs that have gone off for a season or two, and they just will not catch a fish, but then all of a sudden they come back on them. I have no explanation why, but yeah, Joe, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what, Garrod? You have it there now. That woodworker treat, that little doyle back. A little doyle back like that. We love the marabou tail, small little marabou tail. I don't know if you'll get the real blue flash. We'll see there now if you can get the real blue flash of that. I'll put it back in the vise once I've wet it, and see if you get that. It needs to be the salt and vinegar blue, Thomas. I'm not really sure if you're getting that blue flash. I think you can see it all right. Once I wet that, you can see that blue flash in that tail. Very, very subtle. Beautiful little fly. I absolutely would work a treat in Clarny. But there you go, folks. That's it. First time ever tying that on a live show, or indeed any show or any video. That's the salt and vinegar blue doyle back. I hope you all really enjoy that one, and I hope you all get a fish. If you're tying it and going out fishing it, just let me know how you get on. I love hearing feedback from the shows. And I do get them all season. You know, all season long, I'd be getting text messages from people that watch the show saying, oh, I fished such and such a fly and I saw it on your live show and I got great results and thanks so much. So I do love the feedback. So do send me any feedback you may have of any of the flies we tie here or any of the flies we came up with over the years. And I say I love hearing that feedback. So we're going to move on anyway, folks. We're going to move on now to a bit of a tie. That's only the way to explain tying this thing. It's a snake, okay? A bit of a fly. A lot of people ask me about snakes and stuff like that. Thanks, Tim. Dave has got the question coming up there. Thanks, Kevin. Dave has the question coming up there now, folks. Keep an eye out for it there. And don't forget, if you share the stream, you are in to win. You're in to win tonight's flies. And just going down through all the messages here now. Make sure. Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it. Taylor over in Canada. Would love to hear feedback how the flies work. And hopefully they work as good as they have for me in the past. So we're going to move on and we're going to tie a snake. Okay, a bit of tying in a snake, folks, but a lot of people over the last 2 weeks have asked me to tie them. We're going to do an olive snake here for you tonight. A bit of tying them. They're not competition friendly, I know, before anyone corrects me on it, but they are super effective. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Super. Again, please check the rules in your fishery, whether you're allowed to fish them or not. But there's a bit of tying them, and it'll also cover booby eyes because we're going to have a booby on this one. Okay, so what we're going to start with here on the actual hook part. Okay, this is the hook that's going to remain. We're going to use a blob hook, and this is a size 12. Okay, size 12 blob hook. And we're going to add that in there. We know we really got to use Kevlar for this. We need strength in the foundation of this fly so the whole thing doesn't pull apart, which is very important, folks. Okay, now when I'm tying in snakes, I use braid, which is a very light braid. So when I'm tying an olive snake, I use this, this olive braid, as you can see here. Okay, really light and very unintrusive of the fly, and it's very supple, so it won't inflict on any kind of movement that I need in this fly. And that's the one trick about snakes, is they gotta move. Okay, you gotta have movement in there. All right, so I'm going to take off a bit of that. Plus the braid has a lot of strength. Okay, it's quite strong. Now if I'm tying in white snakes or if I'm tying in black snakes, what I'll do is I'll use white. I've got some of it here, if I can pull it out of the drawer. So I'll use a bit of white and what I'll do is I'll colour that black. Okay, or if I'm doing pink, I'll do it pink. So Dave is on there with the question. According to Google, how many teeth does an adult pike have? So there you go, folks. Who is fastest on the buttons there will win the prize. Okay, we'll win the prize, and there's a lot of good answers coming in there straight away. Win the prize, get themselves a nice little selection of zonkers, and hopefully go and tie a couple of snakes for them and stuff. But I'll keep going here now for a minute. And then we'll come back to that question in a second. So what we got here is we got our olive, and you can see it's quite hard to cut. It's quite strong. Okay, so gonna trim it off. And we're going to tie it in like so, sticking with our long end back over the hook. Okay, and give that a real secure foundation fly. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold it over and bring it forward. Okay, so we're really trapping in. So there's no chance of that when a fish hits us on the this will be the hooking part. So the fish will be here, but our line is going to be attached to this end up here. And when the fish pulls on it, we don't want this to give away. So by doubling it up and folding it like that means it's never going to pull out. Okay, which is very important. All right, now you can shorten up your braid a bit then. So it's a bit awkward, but shorten up your braid. There's no need for a massive big long length like I had out there, and make sure it's all well secured in. You can put a little bit of varnish on that or whatever. So to give you the correct answer, I know in the last couple of weeks I haven't been given a correct answer on the actual show, but I will tonight, because I was talking to Dave beforehand to give you the correct answer of the question, how many, according to Google, how many teeth does an adult pike have? It is between 300 and 700. I don't know who got it in first because I have 4 or 5 streams running at one time. But tomorrow I will go back over and I will find the correct winner, as I always do, and they will win themselves. They will win themselves a prize of some of these nice mink zonker. So here we got our olive mink zonker. Okay, this stuff is fabulous. This is piscarifly stuff. We have it in the shop there. If you want any, you can order online or call into us there or give us a bell. Really lovely thin strip. Really fine, super mobile, and I Sorker Wells, hope you're keeping well. Really, really nice stuff for tying the likes of this stuff, okay? Give yourself a bit of length on this one to start with, and we can trim it in after, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is add this anchor in at the butt, but I'm really only exposing the very bare little bit of the zonker, as you can see, okay? We want that hook to be at the very tail end of our snake. So once that fish comes up and pulls from the butt, attacks the snake from the butt, he's going to meet the hook very, very quick. Okay. For the body of this one, now when I tie a lot of, say just normal, I tie a lot of just normal. How you doing, Dennis Goolan? I hope you're keeping well. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thanks, Richard. But I tie a lot of just minkies with this stuff. Okay, this is Saboya Chartreuse Angel Hair. I use the same combination with this olive mink and this stuff as the body and a bit of a cloaking, and it's absolutely fantastic when it gets wet, folks. It really is. So what I'll do is I'll snip off a little bit of it here. Got a little chunk of it, and just on the desk in front of me, you can't see it now, but I'm just cutting it into kind of 3/4 inch strips. Just cutting it to make a little bit of dubbing out of it. Okay, I'm going to put a bit of dubbing on this hook here now. Alright, so we just fold back our minky strip, and we're just putting a little bit of that and hold everything back and get that body starting in there. How you doing, Mom and Dad? I think Mom and Dad are home. Deirdre and the kids went home actually to because I'm doing the show tonight, and I got fishing tomorrow. Deirdre and the kids decided to take the opportunity to go up and see Mum and Dad in Courtown, Wexford, and I believe they're up there on Dad's new TV watching the show on YouTube. So hi everyone, I hope you're having a good evening up in Courtown. So you can see I've added a little body there, and just before we finish then we'll pull our zonker over the top as we did before. We'll moisten the hair just to get it over way to make sure we get a nice clean tie in there again. So now our zonker's well tied in. I'll whip finish it off and tie it off on the bare hook. Okay, how you doing, Adrian Codd's on there with us as well, from Inishtig. I hope you're keeping well. So Adrian, what do I use for that? Well, I use 30-pound shock leader from the fly line down to a wire trace, which is about 12 inches of a wire trace. That's a great suggestion, Pat. I surely will. Richard Odlum there. Pat just nominated Richard Odlum to come on and do one of our salmon nights with us. And we've neglected salmon a bit over the years, and I'm determined to do a lot of salmon. And definitely on the club, Pat, because we're going to be doing a fair bit of salmon fishing next year on the club, piscarifly club, because it's just part of fishing. We're going to get into the pike this winter for the club. So definitely, Richard, I'm going to hit you up for that one. When you get a chance, we'll hit you up for that one and get you on tying a couple of flies for us. Great suggestion, Pat. And Richard, you can thank Pat for that there now. But there, once we've got that done, everything is really secure. Our zonker strip is secure. Our braid is really secure in there. And we've the first half of the fly tied. If I'm tying a load of these, that's it. I go on, I repeat that process time and time again until I've got them all prepared and ready to go. And then I start with the second. Okay, so now, this time, I'm going to put in a WSL 12. Okay, this is our kind of forward hook. Our forward hook. I'm going to put this one in here, and we're going to start again. Okay, so we're going to add in our Kevlar. And again, like last time, the important part here is securing in that braid to make sure that when a fish hits that tail hook, it's not going to pull out. Okay, so what you do is you get your braid, moisten the end of it, and shove it through the eye of the hook. There's no way that's going to go anywhere then, okay? Now you make your snake as long as you wish, okay? If you want to leave it that length, you'll tie it off there. Obviously, the longer I want it, the more I'll pull back, okay? So let's say if I want it just about there, which is about 3, it's going to end up around 3 inches long. Set your braid first and tie off that braid. So as you can see now, there's absolutely... I actually got my finger stuck in the bottom hook. That's the joys of tying snakes. Be careful, folks. So as you can see, there's absolutely no way that braid or that bottom hook can be pulled out of that fly, pulled apart from that forward hook. The leader is going to be attached to here because it's gone through the eye of the hook. There's absolutely no way. That's completely secure. and you're going to get a really good, that braid is really strong, a really good connection to there, okay? Now you've got some options, okay? You can put in a little, sometimes I'll put in a little bit of, another little bit of flash in there. Sometimes some people will put in a bit of globe right there or whatever, and it kind of just marries the two bodies of the two flies together. So I'll put in just a couple of strips of the chartreuse angel hair in there, and it kind of distracts away from the braid, okay? Tie that in there, snip it away, okay? And what we'll do then is we will attach our mink strip to the butt of that hook. So pull the bottom hook good and tight. Very important here, you get the braid and the zonker strip to match up, so you don't have something like that, okay? So pull them good and tight. Pull them good and tight so that they're both kind of in full tension, and then that will allow you your tying point in at the butt of the second hook, okay? We'll moisten it all up and get it exactly right, so when it's swimming it's nice and straight. If you don't get that, you'll get either a bubble in the double check it now, give it a good pull and make sure it's all nice and straight. You'll either get a bubble in the zonker or you get a bubble in the braid, and it just won't look right, it won't swim right, okay? So make sure it's all dead tight. Absolutely, Jenny, yeah. Good idea, Robert, good idea. I actually will take you up on that idea. Thanks very much. They're not allowed in competition. Someone just commented, they're not allowed in competition there. Absolutely, yeah. Another James, the Fish Barbers. Pat Kennedy, we're not allowed in competition because your leader's not attached to the hook that's hooking the fish. That's the only reason why they're not allowed in competition, okay? The leader is not attached to the hook that you're hooking the fish with. So just going to again dub up our body with our chartreuse flash. Anybody that's into tying zonkers or minkies kind of for any of the still waters around Ireland, you really should try that combination of the mink and the Savoia chartreuse. So all I've done again is I've moistened up the zonker strip there, as you can see, and tie it in on the head. Make sure everything's dead straight. That whole thing is absolutely dead tight now, and it's going to be perfect. All well secured. If you're going to spend a bit of time tying a fly like this, you want a bit of longevity out of it. Nothing worse than getting a pull off a fish, and next thing pulling in the fly and realise the back hook is gone with the fish, and you're left with just with the leftovers, okay, with that front hook. Sometimes I'll add in another little bit of flash as a cloaking over the top. Yeah, I agree totally. Yes, Gerard, I'll do that shortly. I will cut the front hook, but not till I finish the fly, because obviously the hook is holding that the part that I'm going to be cutting away is actually holding the vice, allowing me to tie fly. So I will cut it in a few moments. So I'm just tying a little bit of angel flash over the top again, just to give it an extra little bit of flash over the top. Okay, and that's it. You have a couple of options to finish a snake now. You can put on bead chain, you could just whip it off there now. I would put on a bit of maybe globe right number 5 or whatever it may be. Yeah, you could be right, Dennis. Marius could fish them. Yeah, I think Marius likes the old snake. But you could finish that off there now with a globe right head on it. Even put a couple of little cheeks if you want. There's loads of finishes you can do. The one I was asked for was a booby snake, so I'm going to put on a little bit of yellow booby cord here. I have a bit, or is it Darius? It could be Darius. Oh, Darius wasn't fishing them today, I don't think. But oh, it's gone flying on me. So I'm going to put a little bit of a booby head on that there. So I'm just going to put my booby cord in along my thread. And it's gone again because it's quite a small booby, so it's pinching out of me. Sometimes I'll hold that with the tweezers, and I'll just get a wrap on that there now. 2 wraps to make sure it's even. Once I'm happy that my eyes are even, I'll then start winding my Kevlar up around the eye until the booby mounts into place. Real simple way of putting on the boobies. Figure of 8 in around. Get it secured well in place. If I want, I can add another little bit of dubbing. Not today, no, he certainly wasn't. He did well today, no. Darius did very well today. Connacht champion for the Banks. Add in another little bit of flash there, just so I can tie it in around that booby head to make sure there's no thread exposed. You can even go in through the stuff there, just to give you an extra bit of cover. Whip finish it off. Good pull. Cut away our Kevlar. And there you have a very simple little booby snake so far. Okay, what we got to do then, we got to cut away that front hook. Okay. You don't want that there because that's going to snag up on you. It's going to snag up on you and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll just get a little pliers here. I always have little pliers on the desk. And what I'll do is I'll just get in there and snip that away. Thanks, Graham. Are you not, Adrian? Adrian doesn't like the small boobies. You would rather the kind of 7mm boobies there, Adrian. Would it be a better size for yourself, would it? Oh, surely will, Robert. That there now, I tell you one thing, folks, if you were allowed to fish it in competition, it surely would. But there we have it. Very simple little booby snake. A lot of movement in that. The chartreuse colour coming through in that bit of flash is an absolute, it's fabulous. You can see lovely little bit of sparkle and stuff there. Thanks, Mark. Dolly Barton, does he? Yeah. Go on, Dennis. Go on. Boobies always bring out the best of people's personalities. When we're tying booby flies, of course. Always brings out the best of personalities and gives us now a bit of innuendo here. But there we go. There's our snake. I hope the guys that were looking for that. You can even see, just a point to note there, you can even see the length of the tail that's coming out the back of that booby. Even though, thanks Grod, even though I tied it really short, there still is quite a length, like there's an inch at least back there. But the whole idea of the snake is that the fish will grab the butt hook. A lot of movement in it. The mink, as you can see, is very fine, so it's going to be nice and skinny, and that's going to be well worth tying, folks, over the winter months. So that's going into the tub there. Don't forget to share the stream, and you will be into windows. I'll do that draw tomorrow, not tomorrow morning. It will be tomorrow evening before I get through that draw, folks. Because I'm early heading to Laois Angling Centre to peg the lakes and stuff like that, and get things ready over there. And then once I get back, I will figure out who is the winner of that, and I will also go back. Absolutely, Chris, you can do that. No, you can put a bead on that. Put twin eyes. Actually, is what I do sometimes on that. Is I put bee chain on it. Very good, Joseph, is their booby prize tonight, so very good, very clever. But I would put twin eyes on it sometimes you can see boobies, or not boobies, he's having all booby mad now talking about boobies, but sometimes I would put twin eyes or a single bead on it. You will see single beads. Thanks, John. Morgan Lake Special. Good to have you on with us there, John. Thanks, Martin O'Rourke. John from British Columbia, Canada. Hope you're 17 are keeping well over there. Good friends of mine over there. Got to meet up a few times during the year. So anyway, there, we're finished with the snake now, and we're moving on. We're finished with boobies, folks, so sorry about that. We're moving on. There was another thing I was asked for a few times over the last couple of weeks since we've been doing bank stuff, and this is our last bank episode. We got a lot to get through this winter, so I want to move on after this one. We'll be moving on to more lock style and river stuff and all that kind of stuff. We have a ton of stuff to get through. I have lists of stuff there people have been asking me for to do on a show, so we're going to do a stalking book. Absolutely, Ronan. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to move on to a stalking book. A few people have asked me about a stalking book that I actually did. I'm not sure if I did it on a show a couple of seasons back or did a video, but people have asked me a few times, would I cover the stalking book again? Okay, so you all know what a stalking book is. This is a cat stalking book, really good for fresh stocked rainbows, and indeed you'll catch an awful lot of resin rainbows on it too. How you doing, Thomas? Good, Thomas. Hope you're enjoying the show, and great to have you on, Minister. But a really good stalking book for that kind of thing, for fishing along the margins. You can free line it, you can fish on the bone. I stripped them. There's a whole load of ways you can fish these, but they're really effective. The hook I have there is a 644 size 10 Dohaku. That's the hook I use. Really strong hook, slight curvature to it, really good for tiny stalking bugs. Now we're going to talk about two, but there's a particular thing about doing these particular stalking bugs that's very important that we'll get to now in a moment. Okay, we're going to start off our Kevlar. Now I can tie it in two ways. Okay, I'm going to tie one way and explain the way I do it in the other way. Okay, so what we can do is we can tie in our Kevlar there now, secure in everything. Our bead is up there. That's a 3mm, no, that's a 3.5mm countersunk white tungsten piscarifly bead there. And it's just sitting on the hook there. What I'm going to do, or what I could do, is I could take some of our piscari white marabou and tie in a very stumpy little white marabou tail, which would be something like, I'm going to tie it in, but I'm going to take it back off because this is a good stalking bug, but I'm going to show you an even better version of the same one. So we tie in something like that there, bring it down around the bend of the hook, and then bring your thread up, tying in the marabou the whole way up to the bead because we want a good flat level base there, okay? And that's the way it would be tied in. We take off the waist bit of marabou, and that would be the butt of our thanks Thomas. That would be one way to do it, okay? The way I prefer to do it, and the stalking bug I've had most success on, and the people that were looking for this, is this variation, okay? So we're just going to remove that for the moment. We will be adding some white marabou. This is a cat bug, and we'll bring the Kevlar down around the bottom a bit. Now what we're going to do is put in some plumber's tape, okay? A little bit of plumber's tape, as you can see. All right. Now this, I dropped it. This is good for two reasons. One, it's going to give me a fabulous taper on the body, and secondly, it's going to act as an undercolor for what I'm going to do on top to make it glow. Absolutely glow. Okay. So I strip it down. As you know, plumber's tape is really easy to tear apart. You can get any local hardware. And as you can see, it tears apart in strips almost like a grain. And you can get lovely thinner strips there that you can use to tie in and work up the body of your fly. Absolutely fantastic for doing underbodies, to give you a good shape and a really white, clean finish to that underbody, okay? Which is exactly what we're wanting to achieve, okay? So we'll start wrapping it up the body. We'll start nice and slim down there to put. And as I wrap up the body, I will start crossing the turns over a bit, or even come back on it a bit to create a nice taper, okay? A nice carrot-shaped taper to that fly. No, Robert, actually, good question. I don't know. There's a little bit of UV off it, as you can see. A little bit, not much. But it's the fact that we're using the white, and I'm going to show you now in a second. So I'm coming back down sort of halfway, three-quarter way, winding back down, and then winding back up again, just to create that nice taper. Now, I can remember fishing this up in Dublin, up in Courtlock, and it's just ridiculous. If you fish two of them, you'd get two at a time. It was a really, really well stocked fishery, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put Glow Bright number 11 over that, okay? Now, if you put Glow Bright number 11 over... if you put Glow Bright number 11 over a black thread or something dark, or even over the hook, and just build it up and then resonate, it would become very dull. Okay, it doesn't really have, you lose a bit of its intensity in colour. Now, if we put Glow Bright number 11 over the white plumber's tape, it will be like a flashlight. But there's a couple of things about using the Glow Bright number 11. First, you got to put it into a thread bobbin. Okay, now really tying this fly, and this is the most crucial part of tying this fly, folks. I'm not going to do it now because I'd have to leave the fly tying. Let's do it. Wash your hands before you touch the Glow Bright. Absolutely crucial. If you don't wash your hands, the Glow Bright will not be true in colour, and it'll dull. The oils off your fingers, exactly what I'm doing now, will not give it. I'm explaining to you, I don't have to show you, I've explained that before about Glow Bright tying in butts and stuff. Wash your hands, have a little bowl beside the table. If I'm tying these for myself for competition or whatever, I'd have a little bowl there beside the table, and I'd be just dipping the tips of my fingers in to make sure there's no oils, no dirt off of other fly tying materials when we're using black marabou or different things like that. It will discolour the Glow Bright, and you won't get the intensity of colour that you need. Okay, so I would always good man, thanks Dave. It's a bit out of focus. It's just because I pulled the voice back in focus there now. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know there. Kevin, it's not your eyes. It's not your eyes or Graham. It's just that the camera I'm using is so sensitive now. If I bring the fly back even a couple of mil, and do remind me that, folks, if I bring the fly back a couple of mil, it goes out of focus straight away. Okay, in order for it to be really tuned in, it's got to be autofocus. Okay, so I'll whip finish off my Kevlar there. Now is your point where you'd actually clean the fingertips, or even if you're using a thread bobbin, please clean the fingertips, because you will get some of them oils on it, and it absolutely won. I've tested this fly, one with my hands washed and really clean, and one where I didn't do it and actually touched exactly what I did there by pulling it up through the thread bobbin. And I can tell you now, the one that was absolutely spotlessly clean outfished the other one by at least 3 fish out of every 10 or 12. So there's no question about it. It is. So what I'll do now is I'll just bring that down to the butt of my white, and I'm just putting in the base there, and then I'll go back down again, nice and slow. There's obviously a little nick in that thread bobbin. It's a ceramic. I might have dropped it at some stage or something, but I can see a couple of little fibres sticking out. On my way back down and on my way back up, I'll just take my time and make sure I've got as level a body as possible until they get up there. Now, as you can see, I still have left that bead quite loose. I haven't gone near the bead section just to make sure that it's just to make sure that it's got a bit of room there, okay, to move. We still have a bit of work to do in there. We're going to whip finish that off and cut away our glow brush. Now we're going to take our UV resin with our little artist brush, and again the Solar-Res Tin Hard, as I always use, and we're going to coat that body. Now before you do, and if you're in a situation like I am where I have one or two little bits of fibre sticking up out of the way, just give them a snip off with your scissors, and then we'll coat that body. Don't coat up too near the bead as regards sealing that bead in place. If you lash on a heap of it there, you could lock that bead in place and actually do away with that little bit of space that you have there for finishing off the next segment of this fly. So I'm just moving that around, giving a nice little coating. And I can even see, even though I have touched that glow bright, it is so vibrant in colour because of that undercolour. And now you'll really see it once we hit it with the UV pen. You can see the bang off of that. It is absolutely glowing. Again, I should be wearing sunglasses doing that because my eyes will be all starry after doing this. Give it a good turn around, give it a good zap. Once you're zapping it, if you do happen to see any little fibres that are just sticking out you missed with your previous trim, just nick them out of the way. And that is the body done of that little stalking book, okay? Check that your bead is still loose and you still have space in there behind to do the rest of your work. Put back in your Kevlar is the next one. Thanks, Kevin. Put back in your Kevlar. And then snip that away. I also tie this very same fly with a hothead red bead or hothead orange, okay? But for the cat stalking bug that the guys were looking for, this is the one. Okay, take off another snippet of our piscarifly white marabou. And we're going to just take away the real fine tips. I don't want them fine tips in there. And again, this is where washing your hands and keeping your hands clean for a fly like this is so important. Even if I'm fishing this fly, if I know this is working in a fishery, I will bring at least 10 or 15 of them with me, all nice and clean. You see, when you take that fly, the same as any white fly you're fishing, or white marabou, if you take that fly off out of a fish and you drop it in the mucky bank or it gets dirty, it's gone as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely gone. Don't even bother putting it back. You can wash it and clean it all you want in the side of the lake. It's not going to come back to what else. So normally what I'd do is I'd have 10 or 15 of these with me. Once I get 1 or 2 fish, I'll try my best to keep it clean. If it gets anyway dirty at all, well then it's gone. It's just going to be thrown in the bottom of the box and be recycled. I'm not going to fish it a second time, and I'll go to a nice clean one, and you'll just keep catching fish. Again, tried and tested. Have fished ones with just tying that marabou in the top. Have fished ones that haven't been clean after catching a fish or two, and they get dropped in the muck, and the fish just stop coming. They want it absolutely snow white, and they want that really bright chartreuse body. You know, it's a little bit moist and hold it out of your way. Absolutely, Graham. Yeah, absolutely. I used a white plumber's tape under a lot of stuff in my flies. Some of my nymphs as well, and some of my grayling nymphs. I have it in under some of them, especially the translucent pinks and stuff like that. It's phenomenal. Absolutely game changer at times. Now, the last thing I'm going to add into that is a little bit of hot orange hot spot dubbing from piscarifly again. Small little bit, just in behind the bead. You really should try the plumber's tape and then put a bit of globe right over it. Any colour globe right. I even do it in some of the tags on my lake flies and stuff. Put a little bit of white tape under it and then put the globe right over it. And it's just amazing. A little bit of that just behind the bead. Cover up all our workings. We'd finish it off. And that would be my number 1 stalking book. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope the guys that are looking for that. Enjoyed seeing that one out. That's the one I would use. That's, you say you can tie it out of the butt as well, and it's quite good. But my most successful one has been coming out of the head like that. And that thing there now I'd pull that. Michael Kavanagh, I'd pull it. I'd strip it. Thanks, Dennis. I'd strip it. I'd hang it under, free line it under floating line. You can bung it if you're into bunging. All that sort of stuff. But I tell you one thing, that thing will take throat. It's rainbows. Thanks, Richard. Absolute rainbows. It's phenomenal. But it is I can't emphasize it enough, folks. Wash the hands. Good man, Neil. Wash the hands. Keep it clean. It's absolutely. It's totally. Dennis, yeah, bung it. I haven't, James. No, I haven't. But there is a few guys on there, James, that'll help you. James is looking there. James Hope is one of our youngest members, looking to fish the Liffey with North Kildare, trout and salmon. You can get your thanks, Michael. You can get your permits there and stuff. Thanks, Orca. But washing the hands there, I've done it. I've brought it up and tested that fly. I've tied one exactly as I tied it tonight. Touched the globe right with my fingers and stuff. Tied one where I've actually washed my hands. I tell you, I wouldn't even write it off. Some of the classic salmon fly tyers, they wear gloves. If I was tying a blast to them, save washing my hands, I'd put on a pair of latex gloves and tie those, and there is a difference there. And you'll even notice that once you start fishing and you get 1 or 2 fish on it, if it gets any way dirty at all, they're gone. They won't take it. You might get an odd fish, but you certainly won't get the volume of fish that you should be catching on it. It really is a fantastic fly, and it's the colour intensity, and then of course don't forget your plumber's tape. That's what makes that body really glow for the cat colour. Fantastic. We'll be using a bit of that later on in the season, folks, under some butts and stuff like that. I'm gonna tie a couple of lock style flies where I use some of that under the butts and stuff. Yeah, well, no, not that particular fly, Ken. I've never really fished. Thanks, Darius. And congratulations again to Darius today. I've never really fished it, Ken, on the rivers. Unless there's rainbows in it, it's a rainbow fly. It's for the banks, really. That's where you're fishing that thing. Not really much for the rivers. I have done similar things for grayling, and one of the grayling flies that I'm going to do, a grayling perdigon. We will do a grayling night on the show here. It'll probably be after Christmas when I come back from Australia. I'm going to get over to the Welsh Dee and fish a bit and get some video footage for the club and stuff like that, but probably not this week coming because I'm gone to the wedding most of the week, but very early the following week I'm going to be doing a grayling night for Jamie, who's one of our club members, who's heading over to the Welsh Dee, and anyone else that's heading to Welsh Dee for the grayling championships. I will be doing a night specifically on the club for that, so if you haven't signed up to the club, do sign up to our club, and you'll see that night coming where there'll be questions and answers as well as tying, because we can obviously talk to each other on the club. We can talk to each other on the club, not like we do here on this stream. The club is a bit more interactive and stuff, so do sign up to the club. And anyone that has already signed up to the club, we super appreciate your thanks, James. We super appreciate your support. It's going to be a fantastic journey we go on. But there we have it, folks. Another Saturday night over, another night closer to the trip to Australia and Christmas and everything else that's coming. The nights don't be long flying by. The Saturday nights, I was only talking to Dave earlier on. Thanks again to Dave for no, Kenneth, there's no grayling in Ireland. None. It's been investigated time and time again. There is no grayling in Ireland. But thanks to Dave for the quiz. I'll go back through. Don't forget, anybody that has shared the stream, they will be in for the draw for thanks, Kevin. They will be in for the draw. Mind head on Thursday. It's not Thursday I'm too worried about, Kevin. It's Tuesday and Wednesday before it that I'm more worried about. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, David. Great having you all on with us there. Thanks, everyone, for sharing the stream. And do check out our Piscarifly Club if you haven't signed up already. We'll be back next Saturday night. I might do something very simple next Saturday night because I'll only be arriving back on Saturday afternoon from the wedding. But thanks Brendan, thanks James, thanks Rob having us coming on with us there. But we will be back next Saturday night live here on Piscarifly and our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Indeed, hi to everyone that's on YouTube. We're going to head back to the more kind of natural fishing for wild trout next week, folks. So watch out to our Facebook page. We'll put up some ideas there, let you know what's coming. Thanks, James. Thanks, Chris. Great having you all on. Thanks, everybody, so much. And enjoy the week, folks. And yeah, see you all soon. Don't forget, anybody that's on the club, there will be some pike fly fishing coming your way on Wednesday. Me and Mark will be out Wednesday on the Shannon estuaries fishing some pike. So do watch out for that one, anyone that's a member of the club. Thanks a million, everyone, folks, and have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night and take care, everyone. See you all next week.